Hello, and welcome to another New World Comics podcast. I'm Buck Berlin, owner-operator of New World Comics. Joining with me is Stephanie Cerny.
What's up?
Voice of God, Brad Reed of Nerds to Men fame.
Rejoice.
Huzzah.
And joined with us this week is a customer, Eric Russell.
Hey, kids.
Cool.
See?
Well, for those that don't know, there's a weekly podcast that we do here out of the store. And it features some of my favorite people from around the store. Sometimes people that help out with various things, and sometimes just customers that honestly, just them being around makes it a much better experience every time they're in.
Listen, I'd hug you, but things being the way they are this time, I'd probably not.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Sorry.
I am married.
If you're just going to let a little thing like that stop you.
Yeah, Ross, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
All right, so I am married way above my pay grade to an amazing woman named Angela. Hope she's listening. Get some points. I've got two awesome kids, Zach and Zoe. I have been a huge comic fan since I was a kid. And by kid, this is back in the day when we were protecting, the mouth of the cave from Sabretooth. That's how old I am.
Yep.
I love all things comics, movies, video games, you name it. I've always loved it. I have a real job. I'm a financial advisor, and I have to adult for about 3 to 4 hours per day, and that's about all I can really hold together. Yeah, so I tell them you can have it in 30-minute increments, you can have it all at once, but after that fourth hour, I'm out. So it works out pretty well.
Fair enough. Yeah, you bring up that you've been reading for forever. You're one of the first customers that I had a rapport with when I started working here.
Oh yeah,
and
young buck.
Yeah, yeah, young Mohawk me. Which we throw in pictures to this thing.
Oh,
so
nice.
if you reference something, you just be like, and it'll show up right here. So I guess I'll have to show a picture of young me.
Please,
with the Mohawk,
please show the Mohawk
here. Which for anyone who knows me, it shouldn't be any surprise.
Nah, it's
Although
nice.
God's starting to take away the ability to have a mohawk.
Hey, you rejoiced while you could.
Oh,
That's
man.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Nice job. Nice job.
I think my timing was right. But yeah, so we bonded over our love of Godzilla and Thanos.
Yes.
Yeah.
Both things are amazing.
Yeah. So, because the first thing, I didn't really talk about, my love of Godzilla because, usually when you talk about it, everyone's like, oh, those dumb movies where the guy's in the suit.
That burns me so.
What?
Hey, can I just say something about Godzilla real fast that no one talks about?
What's that?
Easily the first shared universe. Suck it, Marvel. How many movies were there, and they're all in the same universe, right?
Well, and Toho's coming out now and saying, man, we're going to have a shared universe. And I'm like, you've had one.
Right?
Well, because they had the Mothra movies. They had each major monster kind of had their own separate movies.
I mean, Rodan sucked, but it was still...
Yeah, in the Heisei era, it's the, hey, there's, Mothra had like 8 movies.
Can I just say, of all the monsters, just no.
I love Mothra so much.
No, she is the worst.
Okay.
She flies around and sprinkles dust on people.
But while a pupa shoots string on Godzilla, and
silly string.
It tires him. It tires him so badly.
That's an impressive skill.
And then
for a pupa to have.
Yeah, and then as Mothra dusts him and makes him go to sleep.
So bad. Awful. And I understand he's in the new movie.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Go back and watch the old movies. Godzilla vs. Mothra, honestly, the best human story in all of the...
Really?
Yeah. Well, because it starts off this big giant egg, washes up to shore, and then this business is like, it's ours. We paid the government for it. It's ours no matter what. It's ours to do with. And then the environmentalists are like, we should probably check out this thing. It could be dangerous to us. And then the little Cosmos, the Mothra girls,
twins.
the twins show up and they're
doing their twin thing. They're twinning.
Yeah, as long as they're not at the end of the hall.
Right.
You know,
good point.
Yeah, they're warning this business like, hey, don't mess with this egg.
Yep.
If you mess with this egg, bad things are going to happen. Mothra's going to be so upset. And they're
yeah,
like, I don't
yeah.
know what a Mothra is, but whatever.
And they're like, you're tiny.
Yeah.
So we're doing this.
Yeah, and then bad things happen to them for being greedy.
Well, okay. It is a good human story.
Yeah.
I admit.
You know, and honestly, it's a pretty good fight.
It shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be.
Nothing about it should be.
Oh, and I think that's what kind of helps put it over the top is that it's so much better than it should be.
Well, okay. I'm going to go with that, but I'm just going to share with you worst monster.
Oh, I don't know, man. Gorosaurus, Manda.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Sorry about that.
I mean, and then there's King Caesar and
no, hold on, man. King Caesar was straight up letting people catch those hands. He was like the first one I ever saw that was boxing. He was
Yeah.
like, oh, except for the Ali Shuffle that Godzilla did
Yeah.
versus the Smog Monster. He actually did the shuffle.
Oh yeah.
Kids, look him up. Ali, he was amazing.
So Ben was obsessed with, still is obsessed with Godzilla, but he's a teenager that likes to sit in his room and mope, so he didn't really talk about it anymore. But you know, I as a kid, like I would tell him about these monsters, and then like give him the movies, all that, and you know, he was just enthralled with all of them. So I got him a Hedorah, you know, the Smog Monster.
Nice. Good
And
call.
he loved it during the day, but at night he would hide it because it scared him so badly.
Yeah, well, you punch him in the eye, he grows a new one.
Yeah, well, and then Godzilla at the end eats him.
Yeah, we don't
Yeah.
like to talk about that.
Oh, man.
In canon, we don't really talk about
Yeah.
how he did that.
But yeah, like it was real cute because we'd be walking through a parking lot and be like, oh, look over there's Hedorah juice and little oil puddles.
Nice.
I was like, oh, that's adorable. But
Look
yeah,
at you raising the youth of America the right way. Nice job.
so yeah,
Nice job.
But Godzilla of that era was just weird.
Yeah.
Like the George who we had on the show hates Dancing Godzilla.
What?
Absolutely.
What?
Yeah.
No.
George liked the more serious stuff and thinks that the silly needs to not be there.
Listen, man, that was Discozilla.
Yep.
Is what I always called him. But he was doing so many cool things.
Yeah.
He was relating to people. You know, he had partners, right? Because
Yeah.
he didn't like anybody.
I will say when he started talking,
Okay,
when
that
he
was-
and
yeah.
Garrus started talking,
That was pretty bad.
yeah, that's. I mean, I know the one with the orange haired one. It was the stand-in for the bully.
Oh my gosh, that was the worst. Son of Godzilla or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, he was awful. He had like one horn.
Yeah.
And it glowed. And I don't remember much else about it.
Oh my god, it's gonna kill me.
All right, I'm probably gonna wake up tonight at midnight and be like,
Yeah. Well,
know this guy's
we'll show
name.
you a picture of him here. Yeah.
You're like,
"Can I just share with you? I'm gonna start doing that at home randomly."
Yeah. Pictures here. Yeah.
It's
I bet you Voice of God's going to be like, it's this. Yeah. Oh no, not Baragon. It's oh my God.
was it Paragon?
No, Baragon was the little thing with the little snub nose and pointy ears.
Another bad idea.
Yeah.
Okay, they were like, look, Godzilla's the man.
Yep.
He had way better enemies, and I'm just going to throw this out there. This is probably going to be a little controversial. People won't like this. King Kong is awful. Awful. He fights the same T-Rex every time.
I'm just saying, King Kong, very, very short compared to Godzilla.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to make this work.
Yeah. My favorite embarrassing Ben story. I gave him this book of Godzilla toys that came out, and there's one. Like if you watch the old Godzilla versus King Kong.
Yeah.
No chest hair on
Right.
the pectorals. So he looks up at me and says, "Buck, why does why does King Kong have nanas?"
Oh,
I was like, ask your mom.
can I just share with you? It shattered my childhood. I can't go back and watch that now, but
Yeah.
he does have nanas.
He
What
has
is-
nanas.
Ugh.
Yeah.
And he was eating electricity? Or
Yeah, he had weird electrical powers and was way taller than he should be.
Yeah, it's just so bad. So as a kid, my dad and I watched this, and my dad liked jacking with me. There's his thing. So he told me two things about that. First, he said, not only is Godzilla dead, but King Kong owned him underwater when they fell over the cliff. He's like, no, fight was pretty much over. Your favorite monster's dead. And I started crying, and he goes, that ain't gonna bring him back. And I'm like, really? As a kid, you're like, what the?
ouch.
Come on, man. And then he told me that Godzilla and King Kong were put on display and then buried underneath the Empire State Building. And as a kid, you believe anything your dad says.
Yeah, of course.
And he's like, if you actually get down on the ground, you can see where it kind of levels up because they had to bury them. They were so huge. And I'm like, what? We got to get to New York City. I want to go to the shrine of Godzilla. And he's like, you're a stupid kid. So I'm like, you get him?
Gabera,
Gabera?
the orange-headed,
Oh, yeah, Gabera.
that guy. Yeah,
Oh.
with the
And he sounded like a car starting up.
right.
That was easy.
Yeah, and
Whatever.
then, it's just absolutely the worst.
Yeah,
So
it's horrible.
let me ask you this last thing: your Godzilla preference, Godzilla villain or hero of the people?
Villain. I don't need him liking nobody.
So you don't like him being defender of the city?
No.
You want him there to destroy?
I want him there like, why do you keep building this city here? I'm going to keep knocking it down. The last Godzilla movie, he's here to save us. No, it should just be kind of a coincidence that I really came to blow everything up, but this guy's here.
I mean, it makes more sense with him being there to save the people.
I get it,
but yeah, I mean the initial he is the destructive analog force.
Yes, exactly. The later, the late 90s movies where he was at some point possessed by the dead spirits of Japanese soldiers. I don't know what that's about, but he had black eyes, freaked me out.
Well, because
that's the guy I want.
He evolved from the Godzillasaurus. All right, so here's the thing. Maybe some people aren't so far off on those dumb movies that. Yeah.
Like, just look it up, guys. Trust me. It's a rich, shared universe, and it's right here.
So do you think he's more of a villain, Tupac?
Honestly, I'm in the camp of I kind of prefer him being the people's protector, and not unlike James Bond, I like to think that there have been several Godzillas.
I'm down for that.
Yeah.
I agree. I want new Godzillas because they keep getting bigger and redder. I don't know what that's about. Like their spines change.
Okay, so the Shin Godzilla they're saying is a completely out of continuity.
Nah.
Although, man,
he had lasers shooting out of every
thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're going to go there.
All the orifices.
Yes.
And even some that weren't.
Yes.
But I will say that the fire breath from that is by far the most impressive atomic fire breath I've seen in any Godzilla movie.
I give you points on that one. Yes.
Yeah, because the 2014 whatever the newest American one, that was then the most impressive, and then Shin Godzilla was like, oh, let me top that, because you see it happen, and at first you're like, oh, that's pretty cool, and then oh no, he's filling up the city with gas, and then he ignites it.
Yeah, like he's like,
and then
click.
Yeah.
No, look, sorry, man. I gotta have him as a villain. I want him as a bad guy.
No, I understand. I mean, if he's a bad guy, then Mothra definitely has to be a good guy.
I know, which brings us back to the whole: how is he hanging with Godzilla? Like when I fought my sister as a kid, she was 3 years older, an athlete of the family. I could not hang with her. There was even on her worst day. It was a 2-minute fight.
I'm just saying, Mothra's got some power.
No, he doesn't. Mothra's awful.
Let's move on to our other shared love, Thanos, which is so easy to talk about now because like everyone knows who Thanos is. But way back when, you and I were the only ones like, Thanos.
Yeah.
The wrinkly chin. They're like, that scroll guy?
Right.
No, he's not a scroll.
Why is that scroll purple?
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, is he like a super scroll? You know what? Stop talking.
And you're like, no, what? No.
Just no. My frustration is great with this because for years we were like, no, he worships death. He's a nihilist. He's awesome.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, no, never heard of him.
Yeah.
It just drove me nuts.
But now you can still be like, why are people in love with him?
Right?
Because that's the new thing, is for people to be in love with him.
Right. So, okay, I'm going to ask you guys, when you're sitting in the theater, Infinity War, no spoilers, people, were you thinking to yourself, that dude's got a point?
Maybe a little, but it's really weird to know that that character of Thanos versus comic Thanos.
Right. Comic Thanos is much meaner.
Yeah.
Just as insightful, though.
Which, and it, I understand that they didn't have the time to make him as relatable. So it's we're kind of going parallel.
Yeah.
Thanos, he's kind of the same motivation but different reasons.
Yeah.
Same drive, different reasons.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's a more altruistic,
as
opposed to selfish.
Yeah, because he is everything if not selfish.
Yes,
always.
Okay, so there's a argument raging in our house right now that at the beginning of the movie, he had the Power Stone.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, to beat the Hulk, does he need the Power Stone?
Yeah, go back to comic continuity. Yes.
Yeah.
Movie continuity, Hulk's not quite as awesome as
No. Dude can't fight. Did you see that fight?
Right.
He was like hitting in the kidneys and the liver and moving around. I'm like, Thanos has skills.
There's apparently some sort of argument that wasn't Thanos, that was Loki.
Oh my gosh.
But I don't know.
That is an argument made by stupid people. Nope. Sorry. Going out there on record. No.
People don't want Loki to actually be dead.
He ain't dead. I mean, the guy generates cash.
Yeah.
Disney's not killing anybody that makes money.
But that's the easiest way to make him not dead, I think.
Right? Oh, to believe it was Loki throwing hands or
Sure.
getting hands thrown on him.
So speaking of argument, we'll get back to the point that I was going to make, but you have a wonderful history of family arguments and Thanos.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
You want to tell them a little bit about that?
Okay, so we talked about this a little earlier off podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say that, but anyway. So when I was first dating my wife in college, I managed to hide from her for 3 months my love of all things comic, movie, anything geek related, and it was like a Sunday after school special when she found out that I read comic books on the regular. It was like she found them in the back seat of the car. She's like, "Oh, are these for your little cousin?" I went, "No, those are." Uh-oh. And it was literally, "These are yours." And she's like thumbing through them. I don't know what she's looking for, but she's like, "These are yours?" And I go, "Yeah." "And you still read these?" "Yeah." "How often?"
It's
like, I'm like, "A couple of times a month." "How long?" I'm like, "Since I was a kid." She's like, "I don't." Okay, and she's like, all she's thinking is, I got to go back to my roommate and tell her that I really like a geek. And I'm like, well, it's tough for you, but I'm still good looking. So.
Which I mean, at the time, like, you would have been better off if it was like actual pornography.
I think so.
Yeah.
Or drugs or something. She was disappointed.
Yeah.
But so fast forward, we get married, and one of my buddies gives me the greatest gift of all time. It is a little Thanos. It's like one of those little micro figures, I guess.
Yeah, it's the Marvel PVC from like 91.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
So they got that for me. And every time she'd be like, "We should go to Walmart," I'd be like, "I don't know. What do you think, little Thanos?" "I think death." And she'd be like, "That's not funny." I go, "Sure it is. Little Thanos says we should just, do death." And it became, "What do you want for dinner?" "I don't know. Little Thanos, what do you want?" "Thanos wants death and chicken." And it's chicken it is. And somewhere along the line, it went from funny for her to irritating to Thanos must die.
Oh, no.
And we moved, and Thanos did not make the move with us.
No.
Like, she's like, "Well, I'm sure he's in one of the million boxes that we packed." And I'm like, "I've never found little Thanos."
Oh, yeah.
But I have replaced him.
Yeah.
So we have a little Thanos.
Yeah, as soon as I found out it was here you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, "Thank you, Buck."
Yeah.
I got my own little Thanos back. And by the way, not happy to see him.
Oh,
Not even a little.
interesting. So, when you took her to Avengers,
Yes.
and after the credits,
Yeah.
I have to know what was her reaction.
Well, she looked at me and goes, "So, are these movies over?" And it's like she's getting a reprieve. And it's like, no, it's not over. And I proceed to just lay down some Infinity Gauntlet, awesomeness on her. And she's like, "What?" It's like, "So there's more." I go, "Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, there's more."
Such a disappointed, so there's more?
She was. I even said on the screen, it said, "Thanos will return." She's like, "Oh." She wasn't sad. She wasn't sad for Spider-Man. She wasn't sad for anybody. Nothing. Except that she had to now go to another one.
Oh,
And by the way, so my wife has made about, 20 Marvel movies?
something like that.
She's hit like 4. And so we just make her go to the big ones.
Uh-huh.
And 5 minutes in, "Who's that guy?" I'm like, we're not doing this. We're not doing this.
That's awesome.
Buddy of mine tipped me to it. There's a YouTube page where, or channel, whatever it's called. Sorry, old. And they break down everything you need to know before you go see Infinity War. So she and my daughter watched it. My daughter's been to like 12 of the 20, so she's on board. She gets it. And my wife's going, "Now hold on. His name is Doctor Strange?" And I go, "Yeah." She goes, "Why?" And I'm like, "Because he's Stephen Strange, Doctor Strange. And people call him that." I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Come on, man."
There's in Edmond, There's a Dr. Stephen Strange.
No,
Oh,
we've
yeah,
been there.
He's the dentist, right?
No, eye doctor.
Eye doctor.
Oh, okay.
His
Eye doctor.
wife, I think next door is a dentist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe, but I went in because
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Doctor Strange.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, it's totally cool.
Yep, and he's cool. He gets it.
Yeah.
I'm like, how many times have you heard this? And he's like, a lot. I'm like, nice. But yes, she is. No, I don't know if she's pleased or not that she's going to have to go to another. She did say at the end, she goes, well, that wasn't happy. And I go, no. She goes, so that's it.
Yeah.
They're done. And that's when we had the whole lesson. And she didn't want it, and she knew it was coming.
Yep.
She regretted instantly when she asked. And I'm like, nope. And then had some people around us because it was packed. They chimed in, oh, no, and he did this. And she's like, oh, it's a thing now.
Oh, yeah.
I just really didn't. I just wanted one answer. That's all I wanted. But
That's awesome.
yes, so.
Yeah, and the point that I was getting at with Thanos, like where they change him from the movies to the comics, like in the comics, he's motivated, like, you know, he died,
Yeah.
you know, and when he got brought back, he was like, I liked being dead.
Yeah. He was happy.
Yeah, he was like, hey, I'm finally at peace. Like I don't need to,
Right?
you know.
Which is a different view.
Yeah.
That's what I like him.
So
He's got layers like an onion.
yeah,
Like that dude. So.
but he, you know, ultimately he's self-defeating.
Yeah, so you know what? I got to tell you. Okay. My favorite bad guy all time. And this whole, hey, he sabotages himself thing.
Yeah.
Once you've told him, doesn't he then go, oh, well, I just won't do this?
You know, you'd think that, but I mean, we might as well jump into, if you want to talk about this story.
Oh, my gosh. Yes. Okay. So is this King Thanos? Is that what we're calling him?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll go with that.
This here. All right. So absolutely amazing. 6-issue run? Is
Yeah.
that right? 6 issues?
Yeah, because it was getting canceled, and they're like, hey, man, you know, to the right, hey, man, do whatever you want. He was like, can I do all this stuff? They're like, yeah, sure, knock yourself out, whatever. We don't really care.
And it was amazing. It was
Yeah.
fantastic. Look, it was everything I wanted. It was like Christmas in July. Whenever I got the first issue, I'm like, what? He won? Yes. Oh, no, he won.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, well, okay. That didn't turn out how I thought.
Right.
Because I kind of had an image of him with, you know, the big Barda lady on the statue with the chain around her, kind of like King Conan kind
Yeah.
of deal. And he's like, no, he's just some lonely old dude. I'm like, no,
And again, self-defeating.
self-defeating. But the young version of him was like, nope, we're not doing this. And I love that.
Yeah.
Which we're not even going to get into current continuity.
Well, yeah, we
Just gonna
we
let
won't
go.
do that for the sake of, but I still maintain that Thanos is ultimately his worst enemy.
I know, but he kicks so much butt.
Yeah.
Can you say butt? Because I did it
You
again.
can say butt.
You,
All right.
you
Yeah.
just said butt, so I guess we can say butt.
Okay, cool. So here's the deal. If you have not read
But-
Thanos, I don't know that, or you don't know who the character is beyond the movies, not necessarily the best jumping on story, but
I'd
an
say,
amazing story.
Yeah, I'd say read the Thanos quest, which leads into the Infinity Gauntlet, and then you can kind of go from there.
2 of my favorite issues.
Oh, yeah.
Highlight
Oh,
the
man.
dude's smart, powerful, and just evil.
Yeah, it's kind of the perfect intro into the cosmic marvel is the Infinity Quest.
I agree.
Yeah.
The last thing I'll say about the movie, unless you bring it up again, if that's the version of Thanos we got, I thought they did a bang-up job.
Yeah.
I-
You know, could it be better? Could it be darker? Could it be more complex?
It-
Yes, but for the time that they had to
yeah.
put them out there, sure.
Yeah, because I was like, how are they going to do this death thing? Because that's going to weird some kids
Yeah,
out.
and apparently they're trying to stay away from you know the grand.
No living tribunals, no death, no concepts.
Yeah,
no-
they're trying to stay away from the higher concept stuff.
Gotcha.
So we probably won't see death. Probably no living tribunal. Probably no eternity.
Well. But we did get ego.
We did get ego.
I could have lived without that whole catch scene, though, where they're playing catch with energy spheres or whatever. I was like, come on. It's a little heavy-handed.
Yeah,
Can't you just hug it out?
they did kind of to death.
There it is.
Yeah. Speaking of, what are some of your favorite superhero movies?
Favorite. Okay. Not a lot of people liked this at the time. It's getting a lot of love now. But I loved Watchmen. I thought it was awesome. Could have done without the blue dangle. But
Man, Blue Dangle's in the book. Like it's,
Yeah.
So they were true to the movie. But
Yeah.
it's like, man, put some pants on that dude. Just,
Yeah,
but
he-
I mean, it shows that he's disconnected from humanity.
That's true.
Yeah.
He's like, this is me. This is what I do.
Yeah.
You know, which, if
And
I tried that, I'd get arrested.
Why do you have a problem with it? Like,
Yeah.
because he has
Oh,
no...
so he's turned it on us,
Well,
the
I mean, like,
audience.
he doesn't have any
Yeah.
concept of a problem with it, you know?
Yeah, that's true. But I really liked that one. Not many people did at the time, but now, time wins all heals or whatever it is. But now everybody's like, oh, Watchmen was great. And I think they're trying to do a series on HBO or something like that.
Yeah, which I don't know if it's going to be the sequel to the movie or if it's the sequel to the book. But it's Darren Aronofsky, and I want to say trust in him, but I read his thoughts on what he was going to do with his Batman movie. He was like, so Batman's going to be this homeless guy who's crazy.
No.
And it's no.
No.
So
Just-
much no.
There's so much material you could use to reference from, and you want to make him a crazy hobo.
Right.
People. It's a tough question because I really like a lot of I can tell you what I don't like, and maybe that kind of narrows it
Sure.
out. Spawn was awful. Spawn was so bad. I was in true story, if my wife's hearing this for the first time, super sorry about this. I was in such a bad mood when we went and saw Spawn that I almost got in a fight in like the lobby. I'm not kidding.
What?
Some dude bumped into me, it's one of those where, he could clearly move. I could clearly move. I know why I'm upset. I don't know what he was upset about. Probably because
So he wasn't in the theater watching Spawn with you?
No, I think he was going back in, and that's probably what upset him. and so we like bumped shoulders, and he's like, watch it. And I went, no, you watch it. And then, we got in each other's face, and I'm like, going to fight over not liking Spawn. I got to... And there's no cool way to get out of that. It was just one of those... So we kind of, looking at each other, and apparently it took too long. My wife came out. Is everything okay? I go, yeah, it's just, making a new friend.
Yeah.
He probably would have killed me, but I had rage from that. It was like $10. I was broke at the time. So that movie was awful. The best thing about that movie was it ended. What else is there? Oh, man, there's been so many bad ones. Okay. The second half of Superman versus Batman may be the worst movie I've ever seen in my life.
Okay.
The second,
Yeah.
the first half, I'm cool with. That second half, I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
They said, throw in this and this and this and this. It was like a kid started making a sandwich. And you put in Captain Crunch and put in cheese and, and make sure you do a flashback that has no relative, connotation with the movie at all. For Batman, he should have a fever dream about the Flash comes back and we'll put that in a movie later. And you're like, no, this is awful. Don't do any of this. Those are probably the worst. There's so many bad ones, though. So I'm a kid of the 80s, and there was a Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
That was 90s, sir.
Was that 90s?
Yeah, that was.
Oh,
yeah.
my gosh. That was...
Because Fox had the deal with Marvel that they were doing TV movies. They did Nick Fury and Generation X.
Oh,
Yeah.
Nick Fury was awful. So
Which, for a while, that DVD was like $90.
What? American?
Yeah,
No,
because
no.
they didn't make many of them, and
Like
yeah.
two. One
Yeah.
for his mom and one for him. Okay, so it's somewhere on the internet now for sure. If there's, you can stop looking at cat gifs for a minute. Go look up Nick Fury.
So
It's awful.
Marvel was so super upset that they had made it because before the Iron Man movie and everything blew up, George Clooney was going to play Nick Fury, but he was like, I'll do some research, and then he saw that and was like, nope, not after Batman. We're not gonna. You know what? I'm done with superhero stuff.
Okay, what Batman was? I'm awful at this. With the Riddler and
Forever.
Mr. Freeze.
Oh, Riddler was the one before Mr. Freeze.
Well, both of those back to back put me off of superhero movies for a while. Like I had to take a step away and think, maybe I've gotten to the point where it's passed me by.
Yeah, I was young enough that it was the. Also go see the. Although Batman and Robin, I had no interest in.
Ugh,
It was that's bad.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah, those were pretty awful wastes. And I like bad movies. I really do. But if you go in with an expectation that it's a bad movie and it's just there, perfect example, The Meg, the movie about the giant shark.
yeah,
Throwing in a plug here. That is an awful movie, people. But if you go in knowing that and expecting that, it becomes fun. That's just the way it is. But when you go into Batman expecting a good Batman movie and it stinks, you're like, I want my money back. Not just that, I want that guy's money back.
Yeah.
And I paid for this popcorn. I don't like any of this. Nothing. If you can ruin the taste of popcorn with a movie, you're awful. And you should be stopped.
that's awesome.
And who's the guy that destroyed the Transformers franchise? Who's that guy?
Michael Bay.
Oh,
yeah.
my
Oh my gosh,
gosh.
man.
And what else is he gonna ruin?
So I've mentioned before I like bad movies. I tapped out on the last Transformers movie. The last movie I tapped out on was The Human Centipede. No one looked that up. But that is the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. I couldn't get through it. At the 45-minute mark, I tapped out. I'm like, I can't do this. I'm an adult. I should be making adult decisions right now. I'm not doing this. So
That's
bad.
awesome.
I went and snuck in another movie. Well, anyway, the point is, I'm like, I'm not sitting through this. I'm going to go watch some rom-com. It's awful.
That's awesome.
Here's the best part. My son's like, yeah, this sucks. We're leaving.
Zach isn't known for his taste.
He is not.
Yeah.
No.
Sweet kid.
He's got a good heart.
Yeah.
He's got a good heart.
Yep. Thank God for that.
Yeah, I'm telling you. But yes. So, folks out there, my son is about 2% body fat, and he's about 6 months away from realizing he can take his old man. So,
Oh, the other day when he was in, I was like, "Hey, Zach, let's wrestle." He was like, "No." I was like, "Oh, thank God," because I may not have been able to take him.
the beast.
Yeah.
He eats like one too, though. So, if anyone's out there, I'm starting a GoFundMe for feeding my kid. That would be awesome. If you just want to send in, don't send money, just send food. You know, nothing that'll mold. But other than that, good to go. A lot of beef jerky. You need a lot of beef jerky.
All right. The next section that I want to get to is talking about some of our favorite back issues.
Ah, awesome. Okay.
Yeah. Since we had talked about your Thanos love. What else do you have in store?
Oh, so I picked a ton of stuff. So I don't know if this is a back issue or not, but I'm going to say this because a very good friend recommended this to me. But Dr. Aphra is killing it. That is a fantastic book.
Yeah.
And I have not been a big Star Wars guy. I know that's crazy. I like Star Wars. I don't like Star Wars. I'm like, I'll go watch it.
Right. So what's real fun about these, Marvel decided that all the stuff that came beforehand was not in continuity, and everything that they're going to be putting out from now is going to be part of the entire
be the
narrative.
universe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like this is it. And at first it felt like it's this is locked in. This is only going to be the thing.
Yeah.
And now they're kind of having fun with it. Okay, well here's like a little vignette that's part of the story. Here's another
that's cool.
pretty cool. But we're getting new characters that we didn't think that we would end up getting, like Dr. Aphra,
Yes.
which for those that don't quite pick up on it, she's essentially Indiana Jones.
Yes.
Like she's like they took Indiana Jones as a character and just
Threw him in space.
yeah
And gave him a murder bot.
yeah. Turn the him into a her.
Yep.
And then she has a C-3PO and an R2-D2 that
Our murder bots.
are murder bots.
They are murder bots.
Yeah,
It's pretty cool.
They talk about like, oh, I'd like to destroy his flesh, and yeah,
Yeah. And they're like, if you hadn't programmed me this way, I'd tear you apart.
Yeah.
And it's like, ugh.
yeah.
I can't work with that guy.
It is so good.
It is good stuff. It is great stuff. So if you get a chance, check in New World, grab a couple of Dr. Aphras. You're going to love it. I'm a huge Fantastic Four mark. Most people don't know this. But the two issues that I loved the most were 249 and 250, where they fought Gladiator.
Yeah, which at the time Gladiator was the stand-in for Superman.
Superman,
Yeah.
exactly. And he just whooped tail. Love that dude. And I'm like, see, but because I'm not a big Superman guy, because he's got too many powers. I'm like, I'll just use my super calculating brain. Nope, you don't get that too. you cannot have a super smart brain and heat vision. It's a thing. But that is a very good issue. Artwork's excellent. The story's excellent. It makes sense. Okay, Daredevil. Anything during the Miller run, read it. It's amazing. I loved it. Something a little more new, All Things Mr. Miracle.
Man,
yeah.
if only we would talk about that on the
I may have heard a thing or two.
Almost
Yeah.
every episode.
Yeah.
Talk about
You know,
Mr. Miracle.
I need to go back and watch them and see if there is one that we didn't talk about, so we can go back and just kind of edit in retroactively.
right.
Watch
Make
Mr.
sure
read
you
Mr.
push that in there.
Miracle.
Yeah,
So I'm not gonna pimp it a lot, guys, but you should be reading this.
yeah. It's easily the best series out right now.
Yes, by far.
Yeah.
Old Justice League, Guy Gardner. Anything with Justice League and Guy Gardner, especially when Batman knocked him out.
Oh man, yeah. Which that's the run.
Yes.
Because it's right after they had rebooted the DC universe.
Yep.
And they formed a brand new international team, and guy was like, "I'm going to lead it. I'm going to do all this great stuff. I'm the best. I'm the
Yeah. Batman goes, nope, I'm Batman.
Yeah, he was Muhammad Ali without any of the skill.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Great run. It was hilarious. I had never heard of the Blue Beetle or Booster Gold before that.
So, fun thing with Guy Gardner, one of my recommendations that I was going to talk about was this Green Lantern Corps that was happening right around the time that they had restarted Green Lantern. Like Hal Jordan had just come back, and the Corps was starting back up, and Guy Gardner was more or less put in charge.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah,
I
and
gotta get back to that.
It's amazing.
So hold on, does he make sense?
Yeah, well, I mean, like he's still a complete jerk, and
Okay.
he's awful and terrible, but right most of the time.
Oh no, that's fuel for the fire, man.
But that's the thing. It's that. Oh man, why is he right?
Nice.
Yeah,
Check this out. I didn't
and
know that.
yeah, it follows kind of a team of Green Lanterns. Like they treat it like a police force
Nice.
because everyone kind of has the same power. It's just to what extent do they use it? Some people are better at making constructs. Some people are better at flying. Some people are better at the abstract. Some people are better at the structure.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, and it's really neat seeing that. Yes, everyone has the same potential of power.
Oh, sweet.
But some people are better at this than others, so some people are better at being a Green Lantern.
Nice. Who's writing that?
This was Patrick Gleason and Dave Gibbons to start with, but Peter Tomasi took on the title later, and he's the one who just finished up his run on Superman that had Jonathan, his son.
I didn't read it.
It's so good. You really should.
Dude,
it's amazing.
He's got all the powers. Share. just share.
Cher has nothing to do with it.
If she could turn back time,
She would find a way.
she would find a way.
But yeah, like I can't recommend that series enough.
You can't? Okay,
Yeah.
I'll give it a shot.
What else you got?
I got Avengers 166. It introduced the Vision as absolutely one of the baddest dudes on the planet.
Oh yeah.
Took out Count Neferi, who I always thought had an amazing cape. So, like, I'd look at that and go, wow, man, how's that guy not better?
Yeah.
Seriously, it's good, bad guy, but I've always loved the Vision.
So have you read the new Vision series?
Oh, yes. That is amazing. So get on that, people. If you're not reading that, I've read the main, I guess, did they re-release it or something?
Yeah.
Okay. And read that. And it was probably one of the best written Marvel series in a long, long time.
Man, I wonder why. Could it be the same writer as Mr. Miracle?
What?
Yeah.
See, okay, folks, just so you know, I'm that guy that reads comics, does not know who the writer is from Adam. So you're telling me that that's the same guy?
Same guy. Yeah.
How did Marvel let him go?
They were like, hey, man, write the Vision or else. And DC was like, dude, we love what you're doing. If you want to come write Batman, that's totally cool with us. Do whatever you want.
What?
Yeah, well, I mean, he got on Omega Men, and like at the time when it was out, I was like, Omega Men's stupid. I've always hated Omega Men. And going back, it's you dummy, you should have taken the time to read this thing.
Really? Like with the cat guy, the
Yeah.
Omega Man?
Yes.
I'm with you on that, man. I was like, nah.
Right.
It got the womp womp.
Yeah, and here's the thing: it starts off, you think it's one thing,
Yeah.
because you think that they're this band of terrorists. No, they're amazing.
Really?
And it's awesome. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll take your word for it. I'm willing to go back.
It's
do
I'll be getting the collection in real soon.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And more money to spend. All right.
Yeah. So you had mentioned Avengers. I wanted to bring up this is I have like 3 Avengers runs that are my absolute favorite, but right now today this is my absolute favorite run of Avengers. It's the Ultron Imperative.
When he went nuts and like took over that country?
Yeah, took over?
Or killed everybody?
Killed everyone, lined them up to form his face, and set parts of them on fire to make his glowing eyes and mouth.
Yeah, that was kind of intense.
Yeah, so they're like, hey guys, from space there's this Ultron, oh my god.
Nice.
Yeah, it was nuts. And I mean, it's the best Ultron story ever.
Why wasn't that in the Avengers movie?
I don't know.
Is there a rule against that?
I guess they were like, oh, we've got James Spader money. Let's use that.
Yeah, well, I get it. He does have an amazing voice.
Yeah, but he's not Ultron. Like, Ultron is supposed to be like the awful evil robot voice,
right?
Like that is what Ultron is.
Yeah.
And this is years of like Hank Pym finally coming to terms with who he is, what he did, and him trying to fix everything. Justice as the character throughout the series was just starstruck by everyone and couldn't get over all that, and finally he's coming into his own and like, okay, I have figured out my place on this team.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's amazing. And then
they kicked him off.
Well, and then he left. He and Firestar were going to.
So he didn't get fired. He quit.
He just never came back, and then they're like, well, thank God he's gone. But it has at the time probably one of the greatest Thor moments ever. It's let me see, just everyone's beat up from fighting hundreds and hundreds of Ultrons, which is where what they got from the movie, and then Thor bursts in and says, Ultron, we would have words with thee.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. He's all shirtless or kind of half shirtless.
Yeah, like, and his helmet's missing one of the wings.
Nice.
Oh.
And just like no one had a good time. Yeah, and it's just the downfall of Ultron. It's
Really?
amazing. Yeah.
I got to go back and read that again.
It's so good. Well, I have all of it right here if you want to borrow it.
I do want to borrow
All right, good.
So thank you. Okay, for me, the next one was Incredible Hulk 420.
Woo!
That was a heavy one, man. That was rough. So this holds a distinct place in my heart because at the time when I was dating my wife, I got her to read one book, and it was this one. And she was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe they did that." She was.
Yeah.
It changed her perspective on funny books.
Yeah.
Because I hate that when it's you read funny book thing. I'm like, it's not funny. You know what's not funny? This dude dying.
Yep.
And so she read this, and I thought it was one of the most well written. Especially from a standpoint of why don't you give me your blood?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might give some context to it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. So it's Jim. What's Jim's last name? It's one of the, anyway.
Yeah.
One of the Hulk's sidekicks contracts AIDS, HIV/AIDS, and he's full blown positive. He is the clock is ticking, and it's all about him coming to terms with what's happening to him. And he asks the Hulk, "Hey, why don't you give me a blood transfusion? Because I'm sure I could live if you do this." And the Hulk goes, I can't risk doing that. It'll turn you into a monster. It's not like it might. I know it will. The question is, we don't know what kind of monster. And it's all about Jim forgiving him for not taking what he feels is that step to save him. And the Hulk having to deal with the consequences that I probably could have done something to save him. And he ends up dying. There's no happy ending on this one.
Yeah, which at the time, Hulk was smart.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm sorry. Yeah, he wasn't like, me get blood. No,
Yeah.
he was like, Jim, I can't do this, man.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I'm just going to ask people out there, do you prefer the smart Hulk or the dumb one?
I grew up with Smart Hulk, so I kind of prefer him. But I mean, as far as storytelling, like anytime he shows up in a thing, I want a dumb rage monster.
Nice. Okay.
I like the Smart Hulk.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
I like the smart Hulk. And if he's gray, all the better. Which is an excellent segue to my next one.
Oh yeah.
This is 373, kind of an innocuous issue of the Incredible Hulk, maybe for most people. But he and Betty have a heart-to-heart conversation about the nature of their relationship and their relationship with Banner. And there's no tearing buildings apart. There's no saving the day. They literally just get on a rooftop and just hash it out. And it is one of the most interesting books I have ever read because they're talking about Banner in third person. And they both have different ideas of who he is and also how they feel about him and how she feels about the Hulk, how the Hulk feels about her. And it's a cool dynamic, and I thought it was an excellent approach.
Yeah.
And kind of original. So there is one guy I do know. It's Peter David.
Yeah, Peter David wrote that. And yeah, if you'll ever see Peter David's name on a book, more than likely you're going to get a great read.
Yeah, that dude's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But I love that issue. And again, it kind of slipped by. I'm a guy that reads the letters pages because I'm like, someday I'll write in. Then I'm like, I'll start Dear Mark. You know what? Nah, I got other things to do.
Yeah, I've never written in, but I've been name dropped in 3 comics now.
What?
Yeah.
Nice. Good for you. You know what? Pound that out.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. But yes, excellent approach. This one, most people probably want to forget about it, but it is Hercules, Prince of Power.
I love it so much.
It is pure comedy. They take this guy that is super serious, and this changed my viewpoint of Hercules as a character forever. At one point, he tries to get Galactus drunk.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is the best idea I've ever seen.
But if anybody's going to, it's going to be Hercules.
It's going to be
Yeah.
Hercules. Exactly. He like slips him a roofie, and everybody just kind of goes right by that. They're like, "Oh, they gave Planet Eater a roofie." Like, what were you going to do with him? We don't know.
Yeah.
Probably don't want to know. But great. It was a 4-issue run. He got saddled with a recorder or recording unit from what are they?
Oh,
The race?
I
I'm not putting you on the spot.
Yeah.
Anyway, excellent. It's hilarious. It is well worth reading.
Yeah.
And it's here at New World.
Yes, it is.
Hey, right here.
So, fun story about that. Like for superhero school, someone was body shaming. Like, oh, I can't be that character. I can't do that. So I'll be Hercules. Yeah, like I will put all of this on the line. And,
Nice.
Yeah. So I did that, and because I was kind of liked Hercules, but I didn't just love him.
Right.
So I read that and a couple others, and was like, oh my god. All right.
Right?
Yeah. I
How
know
do
what
you
I'm
not
doing.
love that guy?
Yeah, so like I got like this garden lantern, and I spray painted it gold, added some stuff, and it looked just like his mace.
Nice.
But the top screwed off, so I was like, "All right, kids, this holds mead." And they were like, "That's amazing." I was like, "No,
No, not for you.
Yeah.
Only for Hercules.
Yeah.
This is strictly Hercules drink. We'll call this Hercules juice.
Yeah, the kid loved it as I was trying to backtrack it. And I was just big dumb Hercules.
Nice. You just offered a room full of children
No,
mead.
no, I didn't offer it. It was this is for me. It's for Hercules. Yeah, and then
So you told him your superpower came from beer?
no, I just told him
Okay.
that
That's the way we're telling the story.
no, but Hercules being who he was, always has this weird thing with Thor, and at the time the Thor that we had was Jane Foster, so I kept saying all these nice things about Thor. It's like you're much nicer looking now, not that you weren't before.
Nice.
But yeah, it was just awesome.
And the kids ate it up?
Oh man, yeah. Yeah, the kids afterwards were like, "Man, Hercules is just so great." I was like, "Oh my god!"
Look at that.
Yeah.
See, you did that,
Yeah.
right? Nice. So I'm just going to say this because I rarely, with my kids' schedules, get to pop in on a superhero school. So when I do, I'm always super impressed. I mean, those suckers are dialed in. They're like, wait, who is this? They've got questions. They're curious. They're excited. I'm like, that is awesome. So kudos to you, man. And I'm not just, blowing smoke at you. I think that's one of the coolest things ever. As a kid, had I had access to that, I'd have been all over that.
Oh yeah, and that's kind of how I run the shop. Is all right? What would younger me want?
Hey, very nice.
So it's all right. Make comics cheap for the people truly interested, not just the people trying to make a buck off them.
Collectors. Look,
And-
man, if I see one more alternate version of anything, you know how many times I bought the same book thinking it's a new issue? And I get home,
But
I'm
the
like,
cover's different. Like,
look, I
I'm
read
saying,
this.
sometimes a variant cover's nice, but yeah. But yeah, like anytime that a kid is truly into the comics, it's all right. Let's make those cheap for them.
Good for you, man. I love that.
So-
That is,
Yeah.
I remember when I used to buy Devil Dinosaur for 35 cents, and I was like, I'd have to scrounge together quarters and go get them. But by the way, that's an awful book. Don't read Devil Dinosaur.
love Devil
No.
Dinosaur.
yeah, Devil Dinosaur's awesome now.
His buddy was Moon Boy,
Yeah.
which I understand they've kind of redone that whole thing.
Yeah, it's Moon Girl
Moon
now.
Girl.
Yeah,
Which,
but-
and she's
It's
now
an
the smartest character in
Awesome book now.
the. Yeah.
But how do they keep hiding it? You know what? Don't tell me. I don't want to know how they keep hiding the dinosaur. That didn't come out right either. Anyway, it's just
Come at me for the mead. Yeah.
Exactly.
Now you're playing hide the dinosaur.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's what the kids are calling it. So I don't know. The last one for me, only because this is brand new, and I'm going to give Tom the credit for this one.
Yeah. You should.
Tom actually told me you should be reading Southern Bastards.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I mean, sure, whatever. Because I always like to try something new. And you know me, my rule is I'll try anything for 3 issues. If you don't get me in 3 issues, you're dead to me. I don't want to hear about it anymore.
Right.
Don't, unless a movie comes out, then maybe I'll, come back. But Southern Bastards is amazing. Well written, great story, and it's one of those you think it's one thing, and it totally turns into something else. So
Yeah.
I think it's well written. I am not a huge fan of the art, but the story keeps me there. So that would be my last recommendation.
Fair enough. Well, there's a section of this podcast that I like to get to. There are a couple that I want to get to with you for old store stories.
Old store stories. Okay.
Yeah. So there's one that is kind of more or less out of store that you didn't really show up for this thing, but you ended up becoming involved. We had Art Baltazar of Tiny Titans fame.
Oh my gosh, yes.
He was up here speaking at UCO and doing a signing, and we were in charge of entertaining him and doing all that. So we took him to the indoor soccer team that the store had at the time.
Oh.
And there was a big fight on, like it was a Pacquiao fight.
Yes. Was it City Kitties? Is that what the name of the soccer team was? Was that it?
No, we were just New World.
Just New World?
Yeah.
Sorry, take that last one back on the City Kitties.
City Kitty, that's weird. There was another team that I was on called Black Sheep.
Nice.
But yeah. We had, I mean, at one point we had 2 New World teams and a Black Sheep, and then
Wow, that's a lot.
I played a lot of soccer.
Yeah.
Yeah, despite all my godlike physique.
Hey, let me just share with you, man. Be comfortable in your own skin. Your cardio is off the charts.
Oh, yeah.
So don't worry about it.
None parallels my cardio. Yeah.
That's right.
But
Mad skills.
Yes.
so we after the soccer games, because they were late night indoor, he was like, man, do you know anywhere that's playing the fight? I said, it just so happens at my buddy's house, we're all watching the fight. So I bring him in, and you know who he is. James knows who he is, and no one else there knows. Like, to them, he's just another guy.
Yeah.
And fun story, or fun thing about that crowd. You have to be able to give as well as you can take.
Yes, you do. They don't care if they don't know you at all.
Yeah, they will
no.
say the meanest things.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
They've said so many mean things.
Like Ike was like, Buck, you're fat and you own a comic book store. I said, Ike, you're just fat. Yeah.
By the way, after this, I got a great Ike story.
Oh, man. I can't wait.
Fantastic.
Oh, yeah. But so Anthony just starts tearing into to Baltazar.
Yeah.
I was like, what is going on? And then you start trying to mediate.
Yeah,
and it's just they just kind of see you and rise above you and just
listen. So to paint the picture for the listeners, Anthony's not small.
No,
He's a big dude, and we always tease him that he's so dark. If we put salt on him, he look like space. But he's a big black dude, and your boy wasn't backing down.
No,
he was
well,
not having it.
Anthony started off with the Tom Arnold looking,
He's, really, and they're just going at it. And it's like, I think this is starting to get personal.
yeah, and then Baltazar says something and it cracks up the whole room, and Anthony comes over, throws his arm around him and is like, dude, you're
you're in.
Yeah.
You're in. He's like, you got me.
Yeah.
You're in. And that's the beauty of it. So are the listeners, do they understand about hate night and the concept of hate night?
They have no idea about hate night.
Okay.
Which for the sake of context, so no one thinks anything untoward.
Right.
It's a night where we all just kind of get together and have free reign to say whatever horrible, awful thing that we want to say to each other, just because we all love and respect each other. So no one's going to feel any animosity towards it.
Right.
But it's kind of an invite only amongst your group of friends.
It's the group of friends. You can bring somebody new, but if you do, really lay out to them that
they're subjected to
absolutely
everyone's wrath.
Which brings up my point for Ike. And Ike, if you're listening, sorry, buddy. I had a friend, Jeremy, that I said, we are going to hate night. You're going to love it. And I just explained to him, you got to have it ready, man. You got to be able to give as good as you get. When you walk in the door, be ready, because they have already started without you. They've been drinking for 2 hours or whatever it is. So he walks in. The first person he sees is Ike. And Ike's wearing a red hoodie. And he goes, nice look, Santa. And I don't know why, but I got so mad that he actually... No, he goes, what's up, Santa? That's what he was. He goes, what's up, Santa? And I get so mad. He just leaves. He just leaves, and my friend Jeremy's like, where's that guy going? I go, I probably went to get something. He'll be back. Well, he never came back. And that's one of the last times I saw Ike ever.
Oh, my God.
And I'm like, wow, all he gave him was a what's up, Santa? And it's like, it's your own fault. I mean, you got the beard, you got the red hoodie on.
Know what you're going to, dress for battle.
That's it. You cannot be a portly gentleman wearing a red hoodie with a beard and not think someone's going to, especially around holidays.
Yeah.
That's his fault.
And I mean, you don't show up to this thing with a cat on your shirt because,
Yes. Do not do that. And here's another tip for you kids.
Good
If you ever get invited to hate night, do not leave your phone somewhere.
No.
We know how to unlock it. So, and the things we will put on your Facebook. So Oh my gosh, there's been some things, but yes.
So yeah, and then I wanted to bring up your kids again.
Yes.
Just because every time they're in, they always have been little people. Like there are kids that come in that are just kids that flail about, do kid stuff. But since they were almost since you first brought them in, since they could really talk, they have. Hello, Mr. Buck. How are you doing today?
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate it. We work hard at that, and by we, I mean my wife. And so they are scared of their mom, and well, who in their right mind isn't? But it's always been one of those things we lay out that you got to respect people to get it.
Yeah,
and you'd better be on your P's and Q's when you meet somebody. Look them in the eyes, shake hands, address them. To this day, I mean, I still call. That's how I was raised, and I've got neighbors. I'm almost 50, and I'm still like, hey, Mr. Lamondu, how's it going? And he's like, you don't have to call me that anymore. I'm like, nah, sorry, man, this is the way it's going.
Right.
But thank you, I appreciate that. We try to keep them, but they look forward to coming here because they know there's going to be Nerf guns.
Yeah.
So
yeah, for anyone that doesn't know, when it comes to Nerf, I'm Chuck Heston.
So we underestimated your skills, and by we I mean Zach and Zoe.
Yeah.
They underestimated your skills, and Zach goes, how often does he shoot? And I go, he probably shoots employees every day. I don't know, man.
Not as much
Not
as
anymore.
we used to. Yeah.
You used to shoot them on and almost, but they deserved it, really.
I love that. They had it coming.
I mean,
Yeah. But yeah, the best is just Zoe with the, what? Why did he shoot me?
Yes.
Zoe.
Because you were here.
Yeah.
Hey, after that first shot, she's like, all right, game on.
Yeah.
But thanks for, this is a cool place to come for kids because they get shot at, they get to interact, they look forward to come. Like tonight, Zoe's like, can I go with you? I go, no. No, this is Dad's time. Sorry. But she had to commit it to something else. But I was like, no, you don't get to come tonight.
What was the thing that you were telling me about with the Zach with the Nova helmet?
Yes. So one of my favorite things ever is you guys had, I think it was Guardians of the Galaxy, superhero school. Mm-hmm. And my son, if there's a way to be allergic to reading, he's got whatever that condition is. He hates it. And Nova was one of his favorite characters. You guys had a Nova helmet, and I've still got the picture. He put it on. He's like, "Oh, this is so cool."
So that picture is right here.
Bang. So, but he took an interest in the character, and it's because you guys were talking about who Nova is. He's strong. He's a kid, right? He was only a few years older than Zach at the time. And he was super excited about this. And when he got to wear the helmet, he was like, what? Oh, this is awesome. And then you find out, what? Anybody can be Nova? It's like, well, not anybody, but if you eat your vegetables, I don't know, maybe.
Do what your mom says.
Exactly. But it sparked an interest in reading. And he would, if I'd go to the store, he'd be like, hey, make sure you bring back Nova. And I would bring him all the Nova comics, which when they ended that run, it ended his love of reading. I was like, dang it, dude. He goes, that was the only guy that interested me. And I'm like, come on, man. There's so many other characters. He's like, if it's not Nova. And you have to understand, my son is about 15 going on 80.
Yep.
So he doesn't really change.
I need to throw Champions at you. I think he'd love that.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Champions is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Zoe is a Miss Marvel fan.
Oh, even better. Both of them are on the book. So
really,
yeah.
All right, we got to do that.
Okay,
and they'd be perfect for their age too.
I mean, all right. After this, we're gonna hook up with some Champions.
So we'll finish this off with what I deem as your newest best story, which I just found out. Which I've known you how long, and you haven't told me this.
My car,
your first car.
Oh my gosh.
You don't have to go into great detail, but this is to me the coolest thing that's happened.
Okay, so to set the scene again, it's the 80s. I think it's the 80s. I don't know. You get old, you don't care anymore. Time is a concept. But my dad at the time and I had been looking for a car, and we'd seen a lot of Mustangs, a lot of EXPs. They don't exist anymore. You got to go online to find out what that is. Pretty glad we dodged that bullet. But he calls me out of the blue one day, and he says, "Hey, I got your car." It's like, what? That's amazing. Well, I had a friend at the time, Judo, who owned a Fiero GT. Remember those things? And so it's basically European body, American engine, which meant it didn't work at all. But it's a cool car. So he drives me to my dad's house, and we pull up, and I'm looking for the Mustang because that's all we've been looking at. There's nothing there. I go, Dad, what's going on? Judo and I get out. We go to the patio. He goes, yeah, there's your car right there. And he points, and it's just one of those long, you look over, you go, oh, no. It is this huge 78 Cadillac. And it's kind of blue, kind of not. And he goes, yep, won it in a poker game. And I was like, what?
Wow.
And you don't want to be that guy, but I'm that guy. I'm like, no. And he's like, yeah, this is your car now. So my my buddy Judo at the time goes, hey, I forgot something in the car, and I'm going to go get that. And you can hear him laughing from inside his car because it's this big blue monstrosity. I mean, the front of those things were so long you needed like a commercial license to drive them. But so he goes, come on, we'll take a look at it. Trust me, we'll fix it up. It's going to be great. So I look in the car, and the first thing I see is that the front seat looks like there's been a knife fight because it's all just ripped to shreds. He's like, well, we'll reupholster that. That'll be okay. And in the passenger floorboard, grass has started to grow. I am not kidding. There's grass. It's kind of damp. It's moist. I'm like, there's grass in it. He goes, you just rip that out. You put in some new. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. And he goes, go ahead and start it up. And I'm like, no. And he's like, it's your car now. I worked hard for this. I'm like, you didn't work at all. You won it in a poker game. I get in the car and I turn it on, and it just lets this big James Bond cloud just erupts. It covers Judo's car because it's parked behind. It's like, and I'm sitting in my car looking in the rearview mirror, and he is just howling. He's like, dude, that is amazing. He goes, okay, it's not ready yet. We got to get a tag for it. I think that's like $40. I was like, $40? What kind of car is this? And he's like, don't worry, we'll have it ready in about a week or two, but I just want to show it to you. You're welcome. And I'm like, this is neither a Mustang nor an EXP. I don't like anything about this. And I was that kid for about 5 minutes. My old man set me straight. He goes, well, you don't have to have anything. And I'm like, well, I did say I didn't want it. I just didn't want this particular car. But it was the most humiliating ride home with my friend ever. Because we had talked about this great car I was going to have. It's a V8 engine. I was going to be racing him. And I'm just like, oh, my gosh. And he never said a word to me until he pulled up. And he goes, it's a pretty sweet ride, dude. And I'm like, shut up and go die. I hated that. I hated that car. The grill was so big you could cook steaks on it. I mean, it's just, the tires were bald. They were always bald. Even if you bought new tires, they were bald. It was always,
instant bald, yeah.
I hated that. I hated that car. I'm having flashbacks right now. I hated that car. And he was so proud. My old man's just like, yep.
I mean, he should, like, that's how you get the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah. Like, who wins a car in a poker tournament?
Right.
Yeah.
And apparently, I was like, what was the pot? $5?
I mean,
because this thing's horrible.
That makes you, like, almost Han Solo.
I never really took it that way. It had like an AM radio.
Man, how did you not just call it the Falcon?
We actually called it the Big Blue Bobsled because once it got going, you'd have to throw out an anchor to stop that thing. It was all steel. You just throw it out and be like, yep. And some of the worst dates of my life were in that car because they have this expectation, and you pick them up, and they're like, "What is this?" And I go, "Well, this is the boat of love." Love Boat was patent pending. Copyright, can't use that, but. So that was my first car story. So
wow.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think that's a perfect place to end this New World podcast
with my shame.
Yeah,
awesome.
with your shame. Yeah. Don't worry, we'll have you back definitely.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Can you edit out the shame?
No, it's kind of ingrained in the. Yeah,
I guess.
Yep.
It's okay.
Well, Eric, thanks for being part of this.
Dude, thanks for having me.
Yeah, man,
it's awesome.
It's been a blast. I've been Buck Berlin. With me has been Stephanie Cerny, and Voice of God with Nerds to Men, Brad Reed. And I think that'll wrap us up.
I'll do it. Thanks, Brad.